read what you want. Read what you enjoy reading. And don't let anybody shame you for it.
Are you going to work this time now?
Yeah, it's working.
Ah, good.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
How are you?
I don't like this though, but let me put that away. We don't give those out for free.
What is it? What?
My foot.
Oh. If you want Katie's feet, go to OnlyFans at katiesfeet@onlyfans.com.
Listen, if y'all are going to pay me enough that I don't have to work anymore, I'll do it.
Yeah, same. Actually, I'll give you my feet right now.
You want some
Here's a
hands?
preview of my
Here's some
Ravenclaw.
hands. Oh, hi. Welcome
Hello.
back to Book Talk. I'm Lucia.
Katie.
And Mary.
And welcome to October's Book Talk, where if you saw on the community tab, we read Interview with the Vampire. Also, in this casual discussion of this book, yes, I am laying down on this bed because, well, reasons.
You did a lot of traveling.
Yeah, I did.
You'll notice we're together.
Yeah.
That's right. Surprise.
This hasn't happened since
February of
March's release of 2022.
Yep. So a full year and some change.
That's so long.
Since the last time all three of us were in the room together. And like I said, we read Interview with the Vampire.
What a tragic book to bring us back together.
I decided for this one because I'm going to be watching the TV show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, well, I should already be done on, or close to being done on YouTube for the releases.
Ooh.
And,
Pardon me.
Stop dying.
Don't die.
Have kids, they say.
They get sick, I get sick.
No kids. Gang. No kids gang. Yeah.
No kids or pets.
My
Just count
pets
every
died
pet.
last year.
In the most traumatic way possible.
Honestly. Fucking neighbor dog.
Oh god.
Yeah. Broke two sensors. It was a horror deal.
It was a rough time.
Yeah, it was very depressing. Still depressing, if we're being honest.
I understand.
Yeah. But, yep. Well, if you're brand new here, like
Speaking
we
of
said.
depressing.
Speaking of depressing, I picked Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. Have any of you, prior to this reading, read an Anne Rice book before?
No.
Had you heard of her?
Yeah.
Only
She's
because my coworkers have yelled at me for not knowing who she was.
She's like considered the mother of fantasy, right?
The horror, yeah.
Horror.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say I'm mad at the two people who not only were mad at me for not knowing who Anne Rice was, but for not telling me the contents of this book. So I think actually three people, because this one also read this before.
Yes, this copy of this particular book, I've had since I was 14 or 15. And if you might say, oh, that's why it looks like that. Actually, no, it looks like this because I traveled.
Pocket.
Because I traveled with it from California to Indiana, and I was there for 5 days, from Indiana to New York.
And I'd like you guys to know she finished this book an hour and a half ago.
Yep. I technically started it on the way over here. So I read an hour worth of reading on the plane ride to Indiana, and didn't pick it up at all while I was there, and then picked it back up today.
Big mood. I never read when I'm actually on vacation.
Yeah.
Try hard as I might.
Yeah. So that's what we're reading.
Me full well planning a vacation for my birthday where the sole purpose is to read books.
I'm so excited for that too. I have to figure out what I'm reading.
Yes, I gotta book a Airbnb for us too.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Well, you can read with us in spirit.
We can like Zoom or something. You could.
Well, I don't believe you're gonna read this.
Oh, that's fair.
But yeah, this is Interview with the Vampire, book 1 of the Vampire Chronicles series, where it follows. When I was younger, I used to call him Luis or whatever, Louis. But according to the Interview of the Vampire TV show, his name is Louis, and it probably is because I can't read and he's French, you know. It follows Louis, who's an 100-plus-year-old vampire, talking to the boy who is interviewing him and telling him about his life, you know, about how he became a vampire, who changed him, why he changed him, how in the ups and downs of who he is and who he becomes while living through life. And let's say this motherfucker not only loves to hear himself talk, but is a very depressing sort of folk. Yes. Now, if you were a vampire, would you be depressed?
If I was changed currently, in my current state of mind, probably. If like other than that, my life didn't change, absolutely, I would be very upset. I would be so depressed.
Yeah.
I could see like it happening over time. Like you're stuck in a stagnant way and you can never change.
Yeah.
Especially like I'm a kind of person who like regularly craves change. Like I have to rearrange my furniture every 6 months kind of person. So like I could see like maybe not at first, but 50, 60 years down the road when you're the same person doing the same thing day in, day out.
Yes.
I could see watching the people you love die. Like, if you didn't have at least, like, 2 people. Like, more than one. You need more than one person, because you're always going to fight with somebody.
We are inherently social creatures, so, like, as you lose that knit, and then you have to, like, constantly move to...
Yeah, because people would just know that something's different about you.
Figure it out eventually,
in 10 years.
Yes.
Like, start doing makeup, adding wrinkles to your face.
Honestly, stage. Do stage makeup.
It's not like you'll sweat it off.
Yeah. So, we meet Louis, and he tells us that he becomes a vampire in 18, whatever. You guys, if y'all aren't new here, I'm bad with names, and I'm bad with dates, and generally bad at places too, but I can tell you a story, and I'll remember those details, and that to me is important. He tells us that he became a vampire in 18, throw it away, perhaps, that was the year, and it's because Lestat, who it was his maker, literally just like raw dogged him, and it was like, yeah, let me have your throat because I want to live in this place because my father, because my father is dying and this would be great. So, yeah, cheerio, mate, give it to me.
It was also because Louis is good with numbers.
Yeah,
he's like, I need an accountant. You are gonna be with me for eternity.
Yep.
Like,
prior
shady.
to because we also know Louis before he's turned into a vampire.
Yeah, there's that whole.
His brother was.
that was a thing for a hot second.
Getting up this is a blur.
So his brother.
I started it and then took 4 days away from it and then finished it. So
his brother was a devout devotee of his Lord and Savior Christ, Jesus Christ, and his brother Paul, Jesus Christ Superstar. Yes, his brother Paul was fully in God's given me visions.
I thought he was a saint.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna fact check myself because
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
it's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
What?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, it's a play. That's what I know.
Yeah, we're pretty sure it's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh, who wrote it or did the music? I swear for a while I thought Andrew Lloyd Webber died.
I was right. Okay, yeah, Andrew Lloyd
Webber. I could see that. I would also had believed at one point that he was dead.
Is this the new Mandela effect?
Maybe. Because I swear, because I saw his TikTok maybe a year or two ago.
The man has a TikTok?
Yeah, he does. He does. Because he was doing the music.
First TikTok.
I love that.
He was doing the music for Phantom of the Opera. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my Jesus, yeah. And then I hadn't seen anything about him on TikTok. And in my brain, he must have died. Mm. That's not true.
He's alive and well currently.
Yep. But anyways, going back to these vampires who some die, some don't. His mother, I don't think is very fair. She blamed Louis for Paul's death. Like, oh, you must have made him into such a state. When in reality, the brother just died.
He just fell down a staircase.
Yes. So that's not fair.
Although, I have this theory.
Okay.
That Lestat pushed him down the staircase. To send Louis into the spiral. To make him so desperate that he'd say yes without thinking twice.
Giving me more reasons to hate this book, guys.
So, in honesty though,
because there was this whole description of something felt wrong.
Yeah.
And so when I got to the end of it, and it was Lestat was so gripped, he needed Louis to be with him. I was like, oh, maybe.
For those who have not seen the TV show,
turn your movie as well.
Yes, there is a movie. I've actually seen the movie. It's been very many years, but I have seen it. For those who have not seen the TV show, listening, plug your ears. But Do you care if I tell you?
Oh, no, go for it.
Okay. I was like, I'm not talking about y'all. But, yeah, apparently, because in the TV show, Lestat meets the family, like, before any of this happens or whatever, and the brother, Paul, was, like, very adamant that Lestat would tell him things in his mind, and that was one of the reasons that he died. But it also, the way that Paul died, it was suicide, very obvious suicide. But and so like there was sorry, but there was no tension between the two brothers at the moment that Paul died. It was just like, I love you sort of thing, and then Paul dies. The mother still 100% blames Louis though, and in the TV show he has more of a relationship with his sister up until a point, because like in the book, you can listen now. The book and the TV show, Louis is still very much involved in the human affairs after he becomes a vampire. So that didn't change. Just obviously certain things change. But again, I think that the things that people have a lot of issues with this book in the TV show, they had the change for like at current times that we're in. But I think it makes it for the better. So if anything, Mary, forget you read the book and just watch the TV show.
Throw the book away.
No, not my poor cover.
It's already ruined.
I know. Hey, some tape will do this baby some wonders. Okay.
Honestly, yeah, you could get another 14 years out of it.
Yeah. All the pages were still intact.
That's impressive for a paperback, honestly.
Especially a trade paper, or not trade paperback, a mass market.
Yeah. Yeah, again. Oh my Jesus.
You're coughing, I'm hiccuping.
I'm so sorry. You know what? I have cough drops sitting right here.
Everybody's dying.
Yeah. I asked you. I was like, you want some cough drops early? You're like, no, I'm good.
I was good earlier. It gets worse at night.
No, 100% it does. 100%. But going back to this, I feel like this book not only is like, oh, I made a joke about like this man might like to hear himself talk and is very depressing, but also it's about someone who's lost faith in themselves and those around them. And I was like, oh, that goes hand in hand in depression. But also, it's like, look, you have this life. Live it. Do you want to be someone who hates themselves like Louis does because of the killings? Or do you want to be someone who lives off of animals and doesn't get a complete sense of themselves? Because, he already condemned himself for all eternity to be evil from the very first kill. Yeah.
It's giving Carlisle.
Yeah. From what?
Twilight.
That's what I thought you were going to say. And I'm 100% agreed. I actually think that Stephanie Meyer not only was like, I got the idea of Twilight from a dream. No, she got that fucking dream was this book.
She read this book and then had a dream.
Yeah, honestly and truly.
She read this book, listened to Green Day, then had the dream.
Yeah.
Because it is Green Day. She listened to a song.
What song do you know?
I think it was either the specific song or the album. But the whole timeline is, you can connect Twilight back to 9/11.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Because Green Day formed because of 9/11. And then
Green
she
Day
listened to either their album or their song.
Then
she had the dream, and then she wrote Twilight.
Green Day was a band before 9/11.
No, not Green Day. It's what's Gerard Way in?
My Chemical Romance. I can see that more.
Right?
Maybe it's My Chemical Romance. Either way.
Green Day is from the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then it's MCR. Either way. It sounds more correct.
But My Chemical Romance actually makes more sense for Twilight. Anyways, it's about honestly, it's about, can my condemned soul, can my battered soul, or who I am as a person change over time? Is it all for nothing? Because they make the idea of everything around the world changes, but you as a person, you as a vampire, that stays the same. Do you think that's true? Like, forget the fact of the vampires. People change. Yes, no.
Yeah. So, like, what's his name? Our man, like, makes that comment, right? Like, he's the oldest vampire, and he states it's because vampires reach a point where, like, they can't.
They give up, essentially.
Right, they, like, can't get into the modern world. They give up kind of vibe. But, like, at the same time, Claudia matures.
Yeah.
So, like...
Why are we bringing up Claudia right now?
Listen, it's weird for them to be like, I cannot change. after watching this arc of her literally mentally growing.
Yeah. But emotionally, maybe is what he means. But she literally changed when she was 6.
Childish emotionally, but she can carry and understand complex emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the age she was, she couldn't.
And she was like 6, I think. Yeah,
it's
a child. You want to get that over with now?
Listen, Mary, I can understand like your frustration, but I'm gonna be real with you. I never once read that as a romantic relationship.
It was literally verbatim stated.
I literally, my brain was just like, that's a father-daughter, and nothing ever red flagged me.
No, I would like you to know it was supposed to be father-daughter. And there is verbatim a line where it changed from father-daughter to lover relationship. That's where I flagged it and was like, I'm done. That's where I almost did not finish this book, but I was like, that's when I put it down. I was like, all right.
I must have blacked out because I was just like, this is just...
I was already zoning in and out the entire time I was reading it. I zoned real hard back into that. I had to rewind it to make sure I heard it right. Yeah. I hated it. 6-year-old is still a 6-year-old. Don't care if she's mentally 100. Still a 6-year-old body. Still a child.
I would like to say that, again, 14, 15 years ago is when I read this. There was one thing, multiple things, but one thing I absolutely remembered is that there was no sex in this book. You know, I remember that specifically because 14, 15 years old me was reading things I wasn't supposed to. So reading romance novels with vampires in them, that was the norm. Sucking blood, sucking dick, all at the same time, that was the norm. So this one, I was like, exactly. At the same time, you know? So when I read this one, I was like, ooh, you know, Anne Rice is supposed to be like the mother of all horror, you know, right. Let's forget Mary Shelley for a second, you know, Frankenstein. But like, you know what I mean? Like modern sort of vampire horror. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't see no fucking, you know? They're sucking blood really fast.
So is Anne Rice in the same boat as Holly Black for you?
No.
There's a lot more sense. There's so much more sensuality in this than anything Holly Black could ever dream of.
Yeah, but they're like sucking blood from people and it's just gross.
When you put it that way. Okay, for those who don't know, Holly Black is an author of, what's the series? Like The Cruel Prince. And I have big issues with her fade to black.
It's a YA book.
Okay, but here's the thing. She
just wants a sex scene with the tail in it.
I don't.
Put those feathers in me.
It's not even feathers.
Oh, yeah. Hair.
It's a tuft of hair at the end of a
put that
naked tail.
Put a wad of hair in. No. Okay, you know what the difference was, I think? That I don't think Anne Rice is the Holly Black is because there's no fade to black sex scenes because, you know, okay, this is the world they've set up. There's no sex scenes.
You did explain that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of sensuality and there's a lot of like innuendo, especially like that one part that you showed me at the end. I was like, oh yeah, no, that did happen.
Yeah.
But like there's no actual act of it. Stop it. Oh my God.
This is once more, guys. Oh, I didn't say it this time in the video. I'm saying it now. Casual conversation between.
Can't say it.
I do have to say, though, the vampires in this book have no concept of personal space.
No, they don't.
They're just on top of each other all the time.
Yeah, that group that they find in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just touching
big
each
orgy
other.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Jinx. I do want to point out that here's like what my review of this would have been.
Okay.
Is that if you took out that minor relationship or even just left it at that one mention and stopped mentioning it, which is what they kept doing, the writing style is really interesting.
Yeah.
The writing in and of itself is actually very good. It's different.
Yeah.
It is a literal interview with a vampire.
I was so surprised, let me tell you.
So, like, I also kind of hated that. I would have rather it have been, like, written as flashback rather than him being chunks of dialogue. So then there's dialogue within the dialogue. Yeah.
That's how the TV
looking
show
at it,
is.
it looks weird. Yeah, the TV show.
I definitely was expecting...
Like, reading it is weird.
I was expecting like a preface where they like set up the fact that he's being interviewed by this person.
Yeah.
And then you get flashbacks.
And then you jump in, and then it's written as if it's actually happening.
But then it's just a literal interview. Like, he's just word vomit.
I really thought it would have been, here's the interview. You want to know the story? So back in and then it jumps back is what I thought it would have been. And then there would have been breaks where it comes back in, and you just hear the interviewer being like, wait, what was that?
That's what I thought it would have been. Chapter 1 of this book, 3.5 hours long.
So, no, because it's part.
I know.
There's no chapter. Another thing, no chapters in here. So if you no even page breaks really, there's like 4
there's
of them,
very
honestly.
few of them, yeah.
So like if you are a person who can't physically put down a book without finishing the chapter, you better start this at 10 a.m. or earlier and block out your whole day. I don't care how fast of a reader
I think
you
my
are.
exact text was, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't an interview.
And I said, it's called Interview with the Vampire.
I'll find the text. We don't text that often.
I would also like to point out, like, when they started reading this book, I said, keep in mind, this book is from the 90s.
I don't know what I thought the concept would be, but I wasn't expecting a literal interview, and I kind of love it. It's legit called Interview with a Vampire. Listen, I never pay attention to the title until it comes up in the book. And then literally a week later, I say, I'm struggling so hard.
I was 100% thought
I finally made it to part 3 and was like, I can't keep going, but
you're
I have
almost
to.
done at
I
that
know.
point.
I was so mad with that book.
Yeah, I 100% thought Mary was going to give up.
Hey.
I'll be honest,
it takes a lot for me to DNF a book, and clearly even when I hit my limit, I still won't do it.
So, can you tell...
Because the writing was interesting. The story itself was interesting.
Yeah.
And it was easy to follow. I just simply did not like the adult-minor relationship they kept bringing up.
Yeah.
And then it got me at the end. I almost cried for Claudia.
I was at work, literally in the booth running the show when I read Claudia dying, and I actually almost cried a little bit.
I was like, she didn't deserve it.
I was like,
and then Lestat's like, please, you don't understand. I'm like, bro, you killed her.
I was like, that's so. And then you find out in the end
you
that
authorized that.
Armand is the one who killed her.
Yeah,
which is even worse. It's like I couldn't save her. I'm like, you could have not killed her. You could have at least not killed her.
I would like to say, because I've read this series, like all of them except for the last 2, which came out like 10 plus years after the initial ones.
Is she not dead?
No, she is. Yeah.
No, she died like a year ago.
Okay.
Which is what started everybody yelling at me for not knowing who she was. They're like, she died. And I'm like, who's that? I'm like, you're a reader and you don't know who that is? I'm like, I don't know every author on the face of the planet. Also, thank you. I'm an indie reader.
Not everyone can read horror.
No. And no part of this was scary, in my opinion.
No.
The horror was Claudia.
Yes, the horror was Claudia. But like, when I think of horror, it is not this book.
However,
so this being considered a horror gothic is strange to me, but it was written in the 70s, so.
The more I'm thinking about this, the more the parallels with Twilight are glaring.
Right, I totally knew.
Renesmee is Claudia.
Yes.
Like, you know
but
how,
creepier.
So Stephanie Meyer was like, oh, my child can't say a child, let me make her a fucking hybrid so Jacob can get with her.
I will say, I also had zoned out before understanding what happened with Claudia. I just remember coming back in when Lestat brought her, and then they were like, she's like, I want my mom. He's like, you wanted her, and I'm like, what is happening?
It was very weird, and Lestat very much was like manipulating Louis.
100%, they all are.
And Louis was supposed to kill her.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. So Lestat was like, fine, I'll make her a vampire then.
I know, he's such
like,
a bitch.
What do you mean? And also Lestat keeping all of that information from them, and being like, you can't.
Right.
I don't know anything, and he didn't. But
he
knew a lot more than he was telling them.
Yeah.
And he should have told them rather than when they finally did escape him and get to Paris.
She stabbed the shit out of
dumbasses.
Right.
Like, what do you mean you don't know how to turn a vampire? Who the fuck turned her? Also, all of them were like, you shouldn't have a child. Another parallel to Twilight. They kill the children.
Armand is Edward is literally Armand. That blonde, that auburn hair.
Yeah.
Pale ass skin, pretty young, like teenager-ish. Mm-hmm. That's literally Armand.
So Louis is Carlisle. Who is Jasper? That's the real question I want to know.
Lestat.
No. Lestat is more so a Rosalie, in my opinion, who feels jaded that she wasn't wanted.
Lestat is maybe actually, it's been so long. The one that hunts Bella in the first
James.
one. Because he's unhinged.
You are talking to the resident
I know.
Twilight fanatic. I know all of the
I've
answers.
been thinking I want to go back and reread them.
We should.
Please, can we do a book talk?
Oh, that would be so
We
fun.
should.
I would cry.
I'll have to
feel
take them
like
back from Maya.
season. My depression
Will be lifted.
You know that my depression is high when I'm just reading or watching Twilight, unless it is planned.
I was rewatching Twilight the other day.
I live for Twilight. It is my guilty pleasure.
Going back to this.
Is there going back?
Going back to this. Yes. Going back to this. I had read all of them up to the latest two, which at this point came out like over 10 years ago. And so I would like to say that this book 1 in the Vampire Chronicles, I felt this to them already, is the weakest book in the series. And I think it's because Louis is probably the most uninteresting of the vampires.
All he does is whine and moan
and talking about his
art
and exist in his existence.
Yeah, and how bleak it is.
But
And how
also
evil
the
it is.
child.
No, I do have to give it up to him because there were some profound things he wondered.
Yeah. Claudia
And-
was more interesting than Louis as a character, but still shouldn't have had a child.
Yep.
Child is still a child. Doesn't matter how old their mind is. I'm gonna stand by that.
It's a good thing to stand by.
Yeah,
I'm not denying
It is a
it.
valid thing to stand by.
I just think it's funny.
That was my biggest gripe with this. Literally take that out. Would have
That's-
bumped it up a star.
That's valid for
Bumped
sure.
it up a star in my
So
ratings.
I was telling Katie, I was like, I think it's really funny that because they give stars on their book talks or bookstagrams, and they both gave it a 2 for completely different reasons. I know why, in part, why Mary did. Why did you give
Let me-
yours a 2?
I remember what I wrote. I do know that I had a very much a feeling of I don't like this book, but I can't stop looking at this book.
Yeah.
I can't stop reading it, but like I don't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And again, Louis is literally the least interesting out of all the freaking vampires in this series. This book alone, he's the least interesting to me. Because in this book, we have Lestat, we have Claudia, we have Armand, we have Louis himself, and we have, what's his name, Sergio or whatever. So the one who was like...
Santiago.
That one, I was close.
Yeah, that one. The
That was
crazy
close.
one.
Okay, so no, I've recapped my brain a little bit. So when looking at this as just a book on its own,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the point in it.
Okay.
Yes.
When you think about it as a series,
Yes.
it gives you a lot of the background that's
A lot of
necessary.
important context.
Yes.
So like going in with just one book, reading it makes no sense. Like there's no point to it except that maybe Louis wants us to appreciate art and the world around us and how pretty
Yeah.
it is.
You could get real deep with the metaphors in the way that this
And,
is
like-
written.
Literally,
If I were to analyze the writing.
Lestat's the main character in the Vampire Chronicles.
And so like knowing that now, this makes more sense and has more of a purpose.
Yeah.
But going in blind, I think that was the biggest thing. I was like, I don't really know what this was.
Yeah. It's literally how it ends at, like, with the interview. It's like, oh, that was live. You know, eventually me and Armand, we set off to the sunset. But actually, I had no light in my life, and it was depressing. And then the boy, the interviewee, was like, that's it? Are you serious? You had all that life, and you didn't appreciate it? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, turn me into a vampire.
Right, yeah.
And, well, I told them what happens. If y'all want to know. You know, watchers, cover your ears.
Having
if you don't.
Knowing what the rest of the series is, what's your favorite of them? You said it was like, what, book 3?
So book 3 is Queen of the Damned. Now, everyone knows, or not everyone, but a lot of people know Interview with the Vampire movie. And they also know Queen of the Damned movie. Not a lot of people, like casuals, would say that they don't know that that's actually part of the same book series. Because book series wise, it's Interview with the Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, and then goes from there. But those are the first 3. So when I first was introduced to the series was through the movie Queen of the Damned. And I love Queen of the Damned movie. It's with Aaliyah and Stuart Townsend, and it's great. Now, because I loved that movie, my mom bought me the book series. And, she bought me the first one. She bought me Queen of the Damned. And then I was like, what the hell is happening? Because it follows immediately after the Vampire Lestat. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, Mom, this is the third one. I need the others. And she's like, all right, bet, I got you. She bought me the rest of the series, which is, again, this is one of them. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, I get you. Now, my favorite of them would honestly, some of them would be some of the side series characters. So like this one, it says right here, author of Merrick. Mm-hmm. That's another book of the side series characters. Mm-hmm. Or like this one, the Vampire Armand. Technically, it's not part of the Vampire Chronicles. The Vampire Chronicles follows with that. Mm-hmm. The Vampire Armand is a side one. This one too. What is it? Pandora. And this one also. They're all side series characters that you meet in the Vampire Chronicles, but they get their own books. Mm-hmm. And I love those. My favorite character of the whole series, though, Marius. That's my guy right there. Spoiler, he's the one that turns Armand. Ah. So when in the book, he's all like, yeah, I loved my master, and my master who knew me as a child, and like eventually waited until I was older, you know, sort of thing.
Way to do it, but also still creepy. Still a little groomy.
You know, you want to hear something that happens in that book? So there, I kind of told you, Katie. So vampires in the series don't have sex, but that doesn't mean that human people don't feel attraction to them. So there was this one chick, and I can't remember her name right now, literally was like, hey, I want you both, sort of thing. Because at that point, you know, these vampires were like, well, I love these people. You know, they become accustomed to them. And so they'd like drink some of her blood without her knowing, like just a little bit, like they cut her a little bit to make themselves feel warm, and then they go to round town with her vagina with her fingers. Yep. And just like it was like wham bam, thank you ma'am, and they had a good time. Much like the person in the play, you know, obviously she eventually dies, but before she died she was having a good time. She was like, oh, all these lips on me, and then she died. But you know,
hey, if you're gonna go,
yeah,
might as well go.
Might as well be having fun doing it.
Having a blast.
She had that big O.
And then, oh,
I'm dead. Yeah.
Lots of revelations.
I would also like to point out that I really liked that little side mention of tomorrow and tomorrow from Macbeth, because Lestat liked to read or go to plays with Louis, and they mentioned that, and I thought, as a book that we read, Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, I thought it was a good, like, hey, I'm going to bring it up while we do this. So, what else do you want to talk about with this book?
So, I will say this.
Okay.
Before talking to you, I probably wouldn't have even considered continuing to read it. Mm-hmm. After getting more information about you in the rest of the series,
yeah, I
might slowly work through some of them.
I have like 6 series where I'm like, I have no interest in finishing this, but if I'm bored and I feel like it in a silly, goofy mood, maybe I'll continue.
I'm telling
you,
if it
drops in my hands and I'm given the opportunity to read book 2, I'll read book 2.
But like, here's the thing: I really need to finish Dragon of Pern first.
I have no idea what that is.
It's like
you need to read ACOTAR.
You do need to read ACOTAR.
I'm gonna start it tomorrow. I'm telling you. You'll get Snapchats from me.
You need to save every single one of those videos, and we're going to do a compilation video.
Okay.
But no, I am a little bit intrigued with the other information you've given me.
Yeah. I will say, it does sound like it gets a lot better.
It does.
As someone who is adamant about saying a specific series, sometimes the first book is the weakest when you continue through all of them, I can understand where this would be the worst book in the series, and it just gets better.
Mm-hmm. Can I please read to you the list of other novels by Anne Rice real quick?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you have the Vampire Chronicles.
Yes.
And then you have the Lives of the Mayfair Witches.
Yes.
Which is what you were telling me about.
It's incest.
And then you have New Tales of the Vampires.
That's the side series.
Okay. And then all the way down here at the bottom, you have Erotica under the name A.N. Roquelaure.
I've never read that one, actually.
You've never read her Erotica?
No.
You have The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Beauty's Punishment. And Beauty's Release.
Period. Mm-hmm. I love that it had to specify that this is not the same author name that you will see. Also, wait, all of them have different names, or two?
Not all of them. She has others under
Anne Rambling.
Mm-hmm.
I've also read I've read a lot of her books, but another one of my favorites by her is The Mummy, or Ramses the Damned. Basically, this lady, she's an archaeologist. They find the tomb of Ramses the Third, and they're like, "Oh, look, we're good. We found him," and he comes back to life. And, that's kind of what mummies do, And eventually Cleopatra comes back to life too. That's a whole other thing. But the archaeologist and the mummy, Ramses, they fall in love. Mm-hmm. But at one point after Cleopatra comes back to life, he's like, I just need to go see her. We like parted badly sort of thing, And then they end up having sex. And then at that point, the archaeologists and him were already like together, and I was like, you just fucking cheated on her. And so then he comes back and was like, I had sex with her, I'm sorry. And then they end up having sex for the first time, and one of the lines of that book I will never ever 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 forget. And the archaeologist is talking to Ramses, the mummy, and she goes, batter down my virgin door, I am yours.
Putting reinforcements on that fucking door. Jesus.
This is the shortest author bio I have ever read.
What's it say?
Anne Rice is the author of 23 books. She lives in New Orleans with her husband, the poet and painter, Stan Rice. That's it.
Her son is also a author. I'm like 89% sure.
That's 11% unsure.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to be like totally wrong, but also not totally right.
That's fair.
Yeah. So this book, Claudia and I forgot the lady's name. Madeline. They die
disrespectfully. But before that, Claudia literally brings Madeline, who is a doll maker, because she lost her child. And the doll already uncannily looks a little bit like Claudia. Mm-hmm. And she brings her to Lestat to Louis, because he's already like kind of wanting to be away from her.
Yeah.
Like he's like, you won't share me for affection, and you just want you need someone to take care of you because you look like a child. So she like still blames them for that.
Yeah. I would too.
Like, give her to me. I look like the child she lost. She will love me and I will be able to leave you. Mm-hmm. Literally 12 hours. 12 hours. And then dead.
Yo, Madeline
had to beg for it too. She's like, I know what I'm signing up for.
What's her name? Carlisle's wife. That's her.
Oh, that's Esme? No, that's even worse.
Because she, remember, her baby died, and then she jumped off the cliff.
Yeah,
that's
shit. That's Lewis.
I'm cackling at this meme.
It's Lewis.
It's a fucking Halloween decoration that's at Target.
My name is Lewis. We don't have one at our Target, and I'm really upset about it.
That's understandable. I would be too.
He's not up. We might sell him, but he's not displayed.
Oh.
Sorry.
So Lestat is alive. He was like 2 different times. They tried killing him, and eventually he was like, "Gotcha, bitch. I'm not dead."
I'm just horribly scarred now because she tried burning him, and it didn't work. And then they put him in his casket, bolted it shut, put him in the water. Just like, he's definitely dead. There's no way he's getting out of this. Who the fuck let that man out? That's what I'd like to know.
You gotta read the Vampire Lestat book.
Because there's no way he did that himself.
Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest. There's not a single part of me that remembered him having a father in this book.
Yeah.
There's no memory. Like, I was reading this.
I thought it was Louis' father.
Interesting.
Not Lestat's.
Can I be honest? At the very end, when Lestat's weird help hand, which is that the artist boy that's with him at the end of the book?
Maybe.
I don't
know. But he brings him the baby, right?
Oh yeah.
And the whole time that they're talking, I'm just horrified that they're gonna like do something Claudia-esque to this infant.
Yeah.
And the moment that Louis dropped her back off in the crib at the house, I was like, thank the fucking Lord.
I was like, this is what, I'm not even gonna finish
I was like, that's what'll break me. That's what's gonna break me.
If they bite the baby, I'm not finishing. And it's literally like the last 3 pages. I'm like, I'm not gonna finish it. Yeah, I will consider it a DNF at 98%.
That's not even 98. That's like 99.
99%. And I'm gonna be like, and that's a DNF for y'all. Thank you. I had 2 pages left and I couldn't do it.
But alas,
I did.
Finished it.
Only because I made my Kindle talk to me. I'm telling you right now, if it was a physical book, I wouldn't have finished it.
Yeah.
I do also support my decision to read it on Kindle.
I will only
Lucia is the only one with a physical book this time.
I can't read physical books anymore, but I also have to love the book in order to read the physical book. So I will only be reading them as ebooks or audiobooks from now on.
Are you going to pay for Swordcatcher?
Apparently.
Sword Swallow.
Well, no, I'll actually probably read Swordcatcher. I said that for those Cassandra Clare books that I also had physical books for, and it didn't work. Actually, you know what? I'll probably use my, that's what credits are for. I'll get the audiobook. I got 5 credits, y'all.
I would like it to be known that, what was I going to say?
You're going to say that I'm absolutely beautiful and you're so grateful to be in my presence.
I am.
I'm grateful for my presence.
I'm great. Damn, okay.
I'm grateful for my presence.
I am very happy I'm here in New York.
I'm very happy you're here.
It's so great to see y'all.
I gotta wash my hair.
I gotta wash my clothes.
And I showered yesterday. It's disrespectful.
I washed my hair last night. Can y'all smell my hair?
I don't think
I have smell-o-vision yet, but good shout.
Look at all this hair. You know, I literally got a haircut a week ago. And I still have a lot of hair. Yeah.
Neither of you saw
I think my hair hated the California climate.
Oh,
because it's not, like, I don't have awful split ends anymore, and it's growing so fast.
Tell that to my hair. I don't have that. Mike Texas hair was like, we got you, girl. No, I was actually going to say something about this book.
Yeah, you were.
Who was your favorite character?
I can tell you who my least favorite character is.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Claudia.
Claudia?
No, actually, it's Lestat. Because she's a bitch.
That's fair. I'm intrigued by Armand.
Yeah, I love him.
Like, I don't think I got enough information about him.
You have to read his book.
Oh yeah, clearly.
I think I liked Louis just because he wasn't creepy.
You know, Louis gave me the same
boring.
energy that Harry Potter gave me in the Order of Phoenix, where I just wanted to reach into the book and slap him.
You know, because he was very wishy-washy, very he didn't have no confidence. Oh my god, a piece came off.
Oh no.
I was wondering when you'd notice that. I saw it earlier.
Right now. Very wishy-washy. He had no confidence, which again, he very much eventually allows himself to like think and say out loud, like, hey, I'm a bitch.
I'm a boss.
I'm a lover. I'm a yep.
Which, so here's another question that I have. Armand, or maybe it's Santiago, someone mentions that like the reason you're not supposed to kill other vampires is because they're very rare, because they're very picky about who they turn into vampires. Lestat very clearly isn't.
Yeah.
Because I feel like no one else would have made Louis a vampire.
Santiago is younger than Louis. Ignore him.
That's fair. He's not as wise. You know what we egregiously glossed over and didn't talk about was Lestat's death. But what led to that, which was another point where I almost...
the second one?
The first one. The point where I almost... The second time I almost did not finish this book.
His obsession with little boys?
Yep. That's also in there and really creepy. So,
they're just
Claudia
they're
is
very
like, this
young.
is the night.
The blood. They mention the blood.
Like, no, I do know that, but it's still hard to read.
Reads very sexual. So, Claudia, being a child, in case you forgot, can only lead children. Because why would an adult follow a lost child?
Wants a candy, yeah.
Clearly. So she brings 2 boys. I don't remember if they're siblings, friends, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Brings 2 boys.
The orphans.
Drains them a little bit, like most of the way. Poisons them.
With absinthe.
And the other thing. I forgot the other thing.
And then is like, Lestat, I got you a gift. I can only lure little boys.
We've been fighting.
You. Then she takes one of the boys and slowly pushes him towards Lestat. And he's just like, starts moaning over it and actually bites him. Moans while drinking the blood. So I understand that it's more of a bloodlust thing than a sexual thing. But it reads very sexual.
It does.
It's about little children.
You know what this sounds like?
And then he's like, I'm paralyzed because I'm poisoned. And that's how she burns him. And then they try to drown him.
This is very much like, hey, it's not Anne Rice's fault that y'all have dirty minds.
It is when she's writing it. He's moaning over the child.
It was hard to read, but I never I was very aware that it is their reaction to how they drink. It's the reaction of what drinking blood does to them.
Yeah, it was not.
It's the bloodlust.
It was not the child. It's just the fact that it was
hard to read
from a child.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. And she literally, Claudia literally says, "I know you have like this thing for little boys," and I'm like,
yeah. And like I get it because like Louis explains how different it is when he drinks from Claudia. the like pull and the draw of it. So like I get where she was going.
It's very youthful, but
it probably just doesn't translate
still
well
gives
today
Predator.
is probably what it is.
Yeah.
Especially, remember,
saying it
how
didn't
old this
age
book
well.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the time period, probably was fine. No one really batted an eye. But
Maybe
I
they did,
batted
I don't
many.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
I was shooketh to my core.
I would like to say that when I was in high school, my parents, and like my brother and his significant other at the time, they went to New Orleans. And they went to Anne Rice's shop.
Ooh.
And they got me a candle from there. And I was so loved it. But my brother, his pit bull, Sita, ate it.
That's disrespectful.
That's so sad.
So I'm guessing we need to go to New Orleans.
You know, New
as a
Orleans
trip.
is on my list of places to
I've
visit
never
someday.
been. I've never been. I'll go.
Neither have I. I have a shirt from there, though. Because my brother went on a service trip once.
My next big trip is going to be to London, though, so.
Yes.
Did you consider a New Orleans trip to be big compared to London?
I mean, it'd be costly.
I think they're actually pretty equal. It's actually decently cheap to get to England.
That's what I understand. Fucking US, you know?
But, like, I've been wanting to go to London for a very long time, so.
Makes sense.
You just tell me when we're going, and I will Venmo you all of the
will.
monies.
Sean and I have to decide if we want to do Barcelona in 2025 or not.
I want to do Japan and Korea in 2025.
The fact that we're
Sam said
almost to
that.
2024,
Mm-hmm.
like we're 2 months away from 2024, 2.5 months, and they're
Let's
already
forget
talking about 2025. I'm like, y'all, that sounds like I need a new job. I need to be rich.
I am not rich.
London takes a little bit of planning.
Yeah.
We have to go on 2 like fabulous book tours, so.
I absolutely need to get my passport.
We absolutely need to plan
I
it
have to get
around
mine
someone's book
fixed.
tour. How are we going to do that when they don't release tour dates until like a month beforehand? We don't know. Hopefully, someone we love will have a book tour in Europe when we go.
We're gonna go see a Waterstones in person.
Yes. Bro, we're going to have to bring an empty suitcase.
I had to buy
has
an
have
extra
a suitcase full of
today.
You did have
suitcases.
to buy an extra
So then we
suitcase.
can fill the suitcases with books and come back.
I brought multiple suitcases here for Christmas presents, and then going home, put the suitcase in the bigger suitcase and flew it that way.
Yeah.
So.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah, sounds smart.
I'm going to spend money in one day.
Anyone have anything else to say about this book?
I think
What
I've
was
said
your
all my
favorite
thoughts.
part?
I did like.
I want to try to make this to at least an hour.
Okay, that's fair. I did like towards the end when I know it's kind of like sad because Louis like shuts off all of his human emotion and he's just devoid and
God,
detached.
when she finally.
But
forces
like
him to
when
change
he
the
like
mind.
goes to the Louvre, or
Mhm.
is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think it's a
I
Louvre.
think so. I'm just a
And
dumb
very
American.
sudden, and then just goes on this like big world tour, seeking out art and the wonders of the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed that journey for him.
Mhm.
And I think I liked the way he kind of talked about the art
Hmm.
and his love of it and appreciation. I'm a big fan of the arts.
Same. I remember telling you, Katie, that I was telling y'all both actually that Lestat gets better in the books, and you
Mhm.
said, Katie, that I think he needs some redemption or something like that.
Yeah.
In like what way do you think he gets it, or like what do you expect for him, knowing that from here on he's mostly the main character?
I'm not really sure. I just know that like at this point he made a lot of really rash decisions that had a lot of negative effects.
I don't think there's anything he could do to make Louis forgive him.
I don't think Louis will ever forgive him. I think
But as the reader,
as the reader, I need more understanding of where he was coming from.
Yeah. What
And
made
then
him decide to do the things that he did?
See him actually be remorseful for it, and not
Yeah.
because not in a selfish way either. I
Not
think
because
is the
the
big
person
thing.
he hurt actually like was very, very hurt, but
Right.
because he
Like,
genuinely felt like he just should not.
Why
have
is
done
he
that.
so desperate that Louis come back to him? Is that a selfish drive, or is it like
probably?
so? Like, you know what I mean?
I think it has something to do with the fact that Louis was his first like companion in this life.
Remember,
Because he made him to have a companion,
Mhm.
essentially.
Lestat talked a big game, but in reality, he was a very scared person.
he was, yeah.
So-
It honestly read to me like the idea of unconditional love.
Mhm.
That like your
Mhm.
children are born to love you
Mm-hmm.
unconditionally. A lot of people will have, well, not a lot of people. There are some people in the world who will have children.
A large amount of people.
To feel that type of love.
Yeah.
And it is very selfish reasons. So Lestat in some way probably felt like being the creator of Louis and also Claudia, that he felt betrayed by them cohorting against him to get rid of him, and that's why he lashed out about it.
Right.
Not only because Claudia was the one that like did all of the things and not Louis.
Yeah.
But
Louis just wanted to leave him a bunch of money and say,
yeah, Louis just wanted to get out. He's like, you're not going to teach me anything. I want to go learn.
Yeah.
Like, I'll come back eventually. Just let me go. You're holding me back, bro.
100%
and
was.
all of that decisions, forcing him to stay.
Yeah.
Even if he gave him Claudia, like, it just was not, it was not a good decision.
I also think that Claudia was holding Louis back too.
She was, and she even says that when she's like telling him to leave. Like, I know that I've been forcing you to stay, and I don't want to be that person to you. I just want you to come back. I don't want to lose you. I want to be able to let you go.
Do you ever think that Louis gets his emotions back? That he'll start caring about something again?
I think he'll find someone that he cares about, but it'll never be to the extent that he did.
I don't think so.
I think the being forced into killing someone, even though it was to turn him into a vampire, he killed someone that he never wanted to do that. Granted, so, he had killed before, obviously, like, he's a vampire, but like cursing someone the way that he was cursed.
I think based off the way that really he reacted to the interviewer at the end.
Yes, like,
I don't think. I don't think he ever will.
Because at this point in the story, he's over 100 years old. I don't remember exactly, but over 100, and he himself sees himself unworthy of any happiness because he's already settled on the fact that he's damned.
Yeah.
You know, this is almost like a gothic romance. And so, what if he meets someone eventually that, you know, you are not damned, Willie?
I mean, I guess good for him, but after reading this book, I don't think he's reached that point.
No, I don't think so either.
And
we have a long time.
I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Yeah. Like, he survived a lot longer.
Does he find his Bella Swan?
the blood singer. I thought that was Claudia.
Louis isn't. Louis not the Edward.
No.
Louis the, what'd y'all say? Carlisle?
Yeah, he's Carlisle.
I would also make note of
he's Carlisle during his time with the Volturi.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, what was I gonna say?
Sorry.
That's fine. Oh, can I redo my nails? Look at that shit. Anyways, I don't know. Like, I can understand Louis. Wish he wasn't so wordy. But at the same time, I mean, they legit lived over 100 years, so that's a lot to say. But because one of the things is, like, when his brother was alive, he was like, absolutely no way that you were hearing, you know, the Jesus and, you know, hearing. And the fact that he became immortal, he had all this guilt in him. And he also had so much focus and remembrance of his human life. You know what it is? He's fucking Stefan is fucking Louis from the Vampire Diaries. Stefan is Louis.
I could see that.
Turn it off, the Ripper.
He never turns Ripper though.
No, but just like that, my soul sort of thing. That's what I mean. And you know, again, the TV show. You know, they have Claudia write a diary. And they even Claudia has like a journal / diary for a moment in this towards the end. And I was like, the Vampire Diaries. I don't know. I'm glad at the very least. And again, because Louis is the least interesting, you're somewhat intrigued by the others. And so there's that. What I also really like, and I told you this already, Katie, is that the Vampire Chronicles and the Mayfair Witches, they meet at some point, and so you see Lestat in that one. Yeah, it's really cool. And wait until you read about the blood that he drinks from this one chick.
Ugh.
Period blood.
That's nutritional.
No, but he just came back from hell.
Okay.
And he needed something, and he would, like, really, really loved this chick and didn't want her to die, and period blood was there. Period blood was there. It was that or kill her, so.
Gross.
Drink her period blood or murder her. Real toss-up.
I mean, yeah, right? Thank God she was on her period. Otherwise...
Speaking of Twilight, that's a fun, like, thought piece that people have of, like, what happened when she was on her period? I'm like, it's a different thing!
Yeah, I know, but it's still blood.
All right, well, on that note,
I hope y'all enjoyed this very chaotic. I don't even feel like we got to, like, talk about the book, but at the same time, what was your favorite part? I feel like this was
one of the most productive talks that we've had.
I will say I am forever grateful that you pick books that I wouldn't normally read.
Yes.
That's what I like.
Fun. Yeah.
And you do tend to pick, at least this one is very close to the genre that I enjoy. I do like vampires and whatnot, and I read a lot of fantasy. So that's part of why it kept my interest, is that it had the air of mystical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are Twilight era girlies.
Very much.
So was I.
I've read so many vampire novels.
So have I.
haven't read that many. Ironically.
See, it's funny enough, we were talking about that.
Yeah, we did. I was like curious of how many you'd read.
Let me see, that are considered vampires. From Blood and Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight. I read
this book.
This one. Also, Kingdom of Stars and Shadows. Those are vampires. Mm-hmm. But like most of the ones that I read aren't like explicitly called vampires. They're just they are bloodsuckers.
I did Twilight. I did the March series that we saw earlier. Vampire Diaries.
I never read Crave.
I never did read Crave. There was another like weird indie one about vampires that I don't remember the name of it. It was a time ago.
Yeah, most of mine are now Fae with magic. And all because of Avatar.
Like,
I was like, I'm not reading a Fae book, and now I read all of them.
After I originally read Twilight, like, throughout high school, I, like, only read vampire novels for a very long time, so.
See, I was the opposite. The reason why I've read so little is because I loved Twilight so much that I didn't want to change up the lore.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the lore that I had.
A lot of vampires don't sparkle.
Most don't.
But also, a lot of books, vampires can fuck.
They can, in fact, fuck in Twilight.
Yeah, and get a Renesmee Claudia baby. Yeah. I'm so glad y'all tried this book, even though I was very sure that y'all would put it down. Y'all are real big troopers, so happy for that.
Yeah.
Listen, I planned out the next 4 reads we have.
That's
so
true.
I feel like I had to read this book.
And considering you also didn't read my last pick.
Exactly. I was like, I can't just not read Lucia's picks. But I also didn't read Katie's pick. But I was at least here for that because I read a bunch of it.
Yeah. We got each other.
However, the next 3 books, none of us have read because they're all new releases.
Yep, brand new.
And they're sequels. Well, the next one is not a sequel. No. It is another Cassandra Clare, so it's in the same realm of an author that we've read.
Adult novel.
It better be fucking involved.
But then we will be...
I have a feeling there's not. She said the romances were complicated.
That's fine.
That leads to good fucking later, though.
That's fine.
Love a slow burn.
That's fine. If the slow burn is, I'm good with the slow burn.
I just
as
live
long
for tension,
as the fucking is good.
There doesn't have to be any fucking. Actually, I just love the tension and the banter.
I
so
we've
got Swordcatcher for November, and then per the November release, we will be reading Iron Flame for December. There's another November release that we will be reading for January.
Oh, not December.
No, Iron Flame.
Oh,
is
yeah,
December.
Iron Flame is December.
You said that, sorry.
Yeah. So we got Swordcatcher for November that we will film in the month of October. In the month of November, we will film for Iron Flame, which you guys will see in December. We'll take a break in the holidays, and in January, we will film for Endless War, which comes out at the end of November.
And who's the author for that one?
That is Danielle L. Jensen. That is book 4.
That's from the Bridge Kingdom.
In the Bridge Kingdom series.
Which we did on the channel.
We did all 3 of those books a year ago.
I'm excited for this next one.
I'm very excited.
I'm excited for all these books coming up. Yeah.
Be good.
And eventually we'll read The Prisoner's Throne, because that is book 2 of The Stolen Heir.
That's in the spring, though, right?
Come on, Holly Black. Don't do me dirty.
It's still a YA novel. It's still...
Don't fade to black.
He has goat legs.
You know what
That's
that
almost
what
worse
those
than the tail.
what those goat legs do?
Because is it hip down or just the legs?
No one
Just
can give me
his-
a definitive
No one
answer.
knows.
It's
If I
just-
see Holly Black on Friday, that's the question I'm asking.
That's the question.
I need
It's
to
the
know.
only question.
Hi, I would like to know where his dick is.
Is it goat leg or human?
Or like his third
That's all I
leg.
need to
Is it
know.
goat or human?
Like, is it like waist? Do we start mid thigh?
Yeah.
Knee down? Where's
It's definitely
where's the
up.
line?
I think it's definitely up to the hip, but I don't know if the actual hips are. And cut.
And thank you for stopping by, Interview the Vampire. I'm glad I got to reread it. I'm definitely going to reread the rest of the series. I don't know about it on my own or just probably on my own or just like not book talk related.
Patreon content.
I'm probably not going to do that. Well,
Give
it
me
takes a
free
long.
ideas.
You know what? You're not wrong. You know I should do a book talk Patreon only.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you said, but like
Yeah. Patreon content.
That's basically what you just said. But I meant like a Bookstagram Patreon only.
You just do reviews on your Patreon.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hey, thanks for coming. I'm gonna go cough up my lung now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go read ACOTAR.
I'm gonna go finish reading the arcs.
I will
have.
put that book in your hand.
Literally.
Just feel
At the end
follow-
of this, we're gonna take a video of it, and we're gonna at the very end of this, you're gonna just clip in after the thank you for watching.
my
It's gonna be
shelf in your
ACOTAR.
hand.
Read it.
All right, bet. Let's do it. Okay. Bye, everyone. This was Lucia,
Katie.
And Mary.
and this was Book Talk with Interview with Vampire by Anne Rice. Rest in peace. I
Read it if you
will.
want.
What?
I said read it if you want.
I thought you said hate it if you want.
That too.
That's valid too. It is 2023. You can hate what you want.
But also, have a good day. Bye.
Love you. Miss you.
It didn't stop. Now read it. Read it.